the ongoing ICC investigation into the case. Alam nyo ba hanggang ngayon kumakalap pa sila ng ebidensya? Sa ating sistema kasi, sa ating judicial system, baliktad yung nangyayari dun sa ICC. The police, when there is a crime, the police investigate, and then the police when there is what you call case build-up, when there's a case to be filed, they file it in the prosecutor's office. The prosecutor's office conducts a preliminary investigation. When they determine probable cause, they will file it in court. Lahat nitong ebidensya nito pagdating sa korte, nakalap na. And then the court will issue a warrant. And then the case will proceed on the basis of yung ebidensya na nakalap ng police, na appreciate ng prosecutor, ganun. Pero sa ICC po, iba. Hanggang ngayon, kumakalap pa sila ng ebidensya kahit na meron na silang warrant of arrest to justify the arrest and detention of the former president.
Po, sa inyong pananaw, Attorney, naging patas ba yung naging pagtrato ng ICC dito nga po sa aplikasyon para sa interim release ng dating Pangulong Duterte?
Sa palagay ko, hindi po. No? As I made mention earlier, wala na po siyang kapasidad or intention, for that matter, to intimidate or influence witnesses. Ang gusto niya ay mapalaya at mapalaya siya sa detention, but at the same time, he will continue to face trial. In fact, if I may put it in context, as he had made mention that he wants to assume full legal responsibility and face whatever charges that he has been saying that that he will face it before a Filipino court, before tried by a Filipino judge, because our Philippine judicial system is fully functioning insofar as cases, political or otherwise, for that matter. It's fully functioning, for that matter.
Opo.
So he should have been tried here in the Philippines.
Opo, Attorney. Pagdating naman po doon sa transparency o impormasyon sa publiko, ano ho ba yung masasabi ninyo sa limitadong impormasyon at kawalan po ng larawan o direktang update po tungkol doon sa kalagayan ng dating Pangulong Duterte?
I suppose that is the policy of the ICC, no? Na pakonti-konti or limited ang information in terms of the physical and medical condition of the detainees there. Kaya yung mga balita na patungkol sa kanya, maririnig lang natin doon sa mga bumisita sa kanya, yung mga pamilya, yung miyembro ng pamilya, at pagkatapos ng bumisita, may mga Filipinos doon sa labas naghihintay. And when I was there, I was among them waiting for news for VP Sara to say something about how the former president is, how he's coping there inside the detention facility. So, and sometimes the defense team din kasi would also visit him from time to time, and they would also give us some updates. But other than that, wala po, at least to me, wala po tayong maririnig officially from the ICC pantungkol sa kalagayan ng mga detainees sa loob ng detention facility.
Opo. Attorney, bago ko po ipasa kay partner Admar, dapat ho bang mapanagot o may pananagutan ho ba ang ICC kung ano man ang mangyari dyan po kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte?
Patungkol sa ICC, I'd like to put this in context since you mentioned about the ICC. Yung ICC is a creation of the United Nations, way back in 1998, very hotly debated for 5 weeks ata before they came up in Italy, in Rome. And that's the reason why when that was finally drafted, it was called the Rome Statute. Having said that, pagdating sa mga ganong klase kasi, these are what you call international agreements. These are treaties, so to speak. Kung saan yung mga bansa, sang-ayon doon sa provision na yan, will consent to this treaty or statute for that matter that they have made. And in context, almost 200 or more or less about 195 UN members po, United Nations members all across the world, but only 125 have adopted the Rome Statute. Ibig sabihin, we are talking about more than 60 or 68 nations who have not agreed, consented to, or even want to be governed under the Rome Statute. Kasama na po yung mga malalaking bansa, US, Russia, China, India, and a lot of countries in the Middle East, including Israel. So for those who don't want to be governed by the Rome Statute, hindi sila masakop sa mga provisions under the Rome Statute. Anong investigasyon na yan, they're not supposed to be covered by it. But the Philippine situation is unique. Dahil nga, kahit na hindi na tayo membro, at sinasabi na nga ng administrasyon ito that they're not going to assist the ICC in any shape or form, patuloy pa rin yung pagbibigay suporta patungkol dito sa kaso ng dating Pangulo. So this is what's unique about this case of former President Duterte. And I hope we will be able to correct this mistake, even here in the Philippines, domestically, by not supporting in any way the ongoing ICC investigation into the case. Alam nyo ba hanggang ngayon kumakalap pa sila ng ebidensya? Sa ating sistema kasi, sa ating judicial system, baliktad yung nangyayari dun sa ICC. The police, when there is a crime, the police investigate, and then the police when there is what you call case build-up, when there's a case to be filed, they file it in the prosecutor's office. The prosecutor's office conducts a preliminary investigation. When they determine probable cause, they will file it in court. Lahat nitong ebidensya nito pagdating sa korte, nakalap na. And then the court will issue a warrant. And then the case will proceed on the basis of yung ebidensya na nakalap ng police, na appreciate ng prosecutor, ganun. Pero sa ICC po, iba. Hanggang ngayon, kumakalap pa sila ng ebidensya kahit na meron na silang warrant of arrest to justify the arrest and detention of the former president. Yun po ang kaibahan dyan. Hanggang po doon sa punto na tinatawag na confirmation of charges. Kaya if you would recall, meron pong report yung Manila Times, which was also cited in the ICC website, na meron yung tinatawag na application for victims participation. So ibig sabihin, kumakalap pa sila ng ebidensya ng mga alleged victims to participate in the case until now na nakakulong na ang dating Pangulo.